Is a semi-automatic handgun. As quick as I depress the trigger of this Glock 19, a round comes out of the chamber. That weapon and this weapon are exactly identical. There is no difference. Glock 19 comes with a 15-round magazine, which under this bill is legal. Functions exactly the same. As fast as you depress the trigger is as fast as a round comes out. E320, which some of you probably saw in one of the hearings on the magazine bans, I showed mine.
Big win for gun owners. Judge Matthew J. Cox Merrick has issued a groundbreaking preliminary injunction in favor of the Gun Owners Foundation and Gun Owners of America, effectively halting the enforcement of the ATF's controversial Engage in the Business rule. A preliminary injunction is a temporary pause on a rule or law until the court makes a final decision. This ruling is a significant victory for gun rights advocates, affecting members of the Gun Owners of America, the Tennessee Arms Association, the Virginia Citizens Defense League, and residents of Texas, Utah, Louisiana, and Mississippi. The Courtroom Showdown. In the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas Amarillo Division, under case number 224-CV089-7, the plaintiffs Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Utah, and Jeffrey Tormey challenged the ATF. They filed a motion for a preliminary injunction on May 9, 2024. The defendants responded on May 14, 2024. Judge Cox Merrick reviewed the briefs and relevant laws. He concluded that the balance of equities and public interest favored granting the preliminary injunction. This decision temporarily prevents the ATF from enforcing its new regulation defining what it means to be engaged in the business of dealing firearms. This will remain in effect until the lawsuit is fully resolved. The ATF's rule was published on April 19, 2024 at 89 Fed Reg 28968. It was set to be codified at 27 CFR PT 478. The rule aimed to redefine who is considered engaged in the business of dealing firearms. It had significant implications for private gun sales and small firearms dealers. This sparked widespread controversy and opposition from gun rights groups. The United States Attorney General has the authority to enforce the Gun Control Act of 1968 or GCA. They can issue regulations necessary to implement its provisions. This responsibility was delegated to the director of the ATF. However, the new rule faced criticism for being overreaching and burdensome for law-abiding gun owners and small dealers. The court's conclusion. Judge Cox Merrick's order states, plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction is granted. Defendants are hereby enjoined from enforcing the regulations, definition of engage in the business as a dealer in firearms, published at 89 Fed Reg 28968, April 19, 2024, to be codified at 27 CFR PT 478 against all plaintiffs pending the resolution of this lawsuit. What's next? This preliminary injunction is a temporary measure. The court will continue to review the case and make a final ruling. Until then, the ATF cannot enforce the new rule against the involved parties. This marks a significant pause in the ongoing debate over gun control and regulation. ATF's Pistol Brace Rule. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is preparing to hear oral arguments about the ATF's Pistol Brace Rule during the week of August 5, 2024. This upcoming hearing is crucial for gun owners nationwide. The ATF's Pistol Brace Rule has generated significant controversy. This rule reclassifies millions of legally owned pistol-braced firearms as short-barreled rifles. As a result, gun owners face new regulations and requirements, including a $200 tax stamp. This change has led to widespread outrage and multiple legal challenges, culminating in this important hearing.
Not because of rank-and-file law enforcement doing their job, but because somebody made a leadership decision in order to execute a warrant. Do that everywhere else. I've represented 3 officers and officers-involved shootings. I spent 10 years. If you have a gun and you're a prohibited person, that's the crime. There doesn't need to be intent. There doesn't need to be any of those. I said earlier that ATF's responsibility is to implement the laws that Congress passed.
34.
Congress passed a law. They didn't.
The Fifth Circuit will not hear just one case about this rule. They have consolidated 5 major cases from organizations like the Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, and Gun Owners of America. These organizations and their legal teams will argue against the ATF, claiming the rule is an unconstitutional overreach. The court's decision could have a significant impact. If the Fifth Circuit rules against the ATF, it could nullify this controversial rule, freeing millions of gun owners from the new regulations. Conversely, if the court sides with the ATF, it could lead to even stricter gun control measures in the future. This legal battle could shape the future of gun rights in America. Whether you're a gun owner, a Second Amendment advocate, or just interested in major legal cases, this is a significant event to follow. August promises to be a month of high stakes and intense courtroom drama. Stay informed and prepared for the developments in this pivotal legal showdown.
Would depend upon the actual design of the individual item. There were numerous different items being manufactured.
ATF estimates that not requiring the $200 stamp from the NFA for a short-barreled rifle. 20 years as a prosecutor, you know the answers to these questions. I'm done asking them. I'm just going to go with
34.
Congress passed a law. They didn't. When did the U.S. House pass a rule classifying a pistol brace as a short-barreled rifle?
Cases consolidated. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has decided to consolidate 5 significant cases against the ATF's pistol brace rule into one major case. Here is a summary of each case. Second Amendment Foundation versus ATF. The SAF, along with Rear Arms and private citizens Samuel Wall and William Green, argues that the ATF's reclassification of pistol braces oversteps its authority and infringes on their Second Amendment rights. Firearms Policy Coalition versus Garland. The FPC, joined by Maxim Defense Industries and private citizens William Mock and Christopher Lewis, claims that the ATF's new rule is unconstitutional and represents a dramatic regulatory shift that negatively impacts lawful gun owners. Brito versus ATF. Private citizens Darren Brito, Gabriel Tosher, and Sean Kroll challenged the reclassification of their legally owned firearms. They argue that the ATF's rule change is arbitrary and places an undue burden on responsible gun owners. National Association for Gun Rights versus ATF. In alliance with Texas Gun Rights, the NAGR contends that the ATF lacks the authority to unilaterally challenge the classification of pistol braces. They argue that the rule unfairly targets millions of gun owners and imposes unnecessary regulations. Gun Owners of America and Texas versus ATF. This case includes the state of Texas, the Gun Owners Foundation, and private citizen Brady Brown. They argue that the ATF's rule infringes on state rights and individual liberties by imposing federal regulations on firearms that were previously considered legal. These consolidated cases are poised to make a significant impact in the legal arena. Each brings unique arguments and perspectives, but all are united in their stance against the ATF's pistol brace rule. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications for gun owners and the future of firearm regulations in the United States. Details of the ATF's rule. Let's dive into the details of the ATF's controversial pistol brace rule, which has caused significant upheaval in the firearms community. Reclassification of arms. The ATF's new rule reclassifies an estimated 10 to 20 million pistol brace arms as short-barreled rifles or SBRs. These arms were legally obtained, sold, and possessed under previous regulations. Originally designed to help stabilize pistols, a pistol brace is now considered by the ATF to be a key component that transforms a pistol into an SBR. National Firearms Act requirements. This reclassification brings numerous new legal requirements under the National Firearms Act, or NFA, which regulates SBRs more strictly than regular pistols. Here's what this means for gun owners. $200 tax stamp. Owners of these newly reclassified SBRs must pay a $200 tax stamp. This fee is essentially a tax for owning a firearm that the ATF now considers more heavily regulated. Registration. Owners must register their firearms with the ATF, providing detailed information about the firearm, including its make, model, and serial number. Background checks and fingerprints. This registration process requires submitting fingerprints and undergoing an extensive background check, adding another layer of bureaucracy and delay. Restricted transport. Transporting these firearms across state lines now requires prior approval from the ATF. Gun owners cannot simply take their firearms with them when traveling without additional legal steps. Storage and handling requirements. Owners must adhere to specific storage and handling requirements as dictated by the NFA, which could involve additional costs and logistical considerations. The ATF offered a period where the $200 tax was waived for those who registered their pistol brace arms as SBRs. However, many gun owners chose not to comply, leading to numerous lawsuits challenging the rule. What was once a simple accessory for stabilization has become a regulatory burden for millions of gun owners. The ATF rule is seen by many as an overreach, sparking significant legal battles that could redefine firearms regulations in the US. The legal fight over this rule is ongoing and promises to be a landmark case in the debate over gun rights and regulation. Stay tuned for further developments. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.